Good day, everybody. It's your friendly neighborhood YouTuber back at it again. Today, we got a little special something for you. It's not going to be a toy review today. Today is going to be, I've done a few of these videos before. It's going to be a trading card review. And this time, we are going to be looking at the 94 Flair Marvel. Now, I've showed you trading cards, I think Spawn trading cards, X-Men trading cards. And these right here are of, I guess, all the Marvel superheroes that you guys are familiar with. And this is kind of perfect because this is, Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War is out right now. If you're watching this video, it's 2018, um, so we're going to do a little bit of a review of well, not a review. Well, maybe it is a review. I guess I guess you can call it a review. I don't know what else you can call it. Maybe a look through, or maybe a look back at the past of some of your favorite Marvel superheroes. So we'll start with the first one. This one is, of course, the Thing, the Incredible Hulk, the Great Power. Of course, Peter Parker changing in Spider-Man. Thor, Spider-Man, Iron Man is born. Now, about these cards are actually based on comic books. Some of the classic comic book covers and comic book stories. So these images right here that you're looking at, they already exist in comic books. And you can see by that, as you look at that right there, Iron Man is born. That's probably from maybe the first issue. They have stories on the back of the cards, but I'm not going to read them because, like I said, you don't want to hear me read, and it's going to take me forever to do this video if I do decide to read every story on back of the card. So, but I'm just giving you guys a reference to this. Of course, Hulk versus Thing, Vulture versus Spider-Man, and then Doctor Octopus. So we'll flip over to the next page. I want to make this video as quickly as possible because the last trading card review that I did lasted for about 20 minutes. So I definitely want to make it shorter than 20 minutes. Of course, you got Professor Xavier. And here is the Avengers. What a lot of people don't know about the Avengers is this right here was the original Avengers. As you can see, there's Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and Incredible Hulk. So those were the original Avengers. I think Hawkeye and Black Widow, they weren't a part of the original Avengers, but for some reason they put them in there as the original Avengers, and they left out, of course, Ant-Man and Wasp. I guess one of the reasons why is because I guess they weren't introduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe until later on, and they found out that, hey, oh, Ant-Man was a pretty successful movie, was a pretty good movie, so let's bring him to the Avengers. Even though Ant-Man and Wasp, they were two of the original members of the Avengers. So, when they made the Avengers, they kind of did it backwards, which I don't know. For the younger generation, they think of Hawkeye and Black Widow as the original Avengers when really it was Ant-Man and Wasp were part of the original Avengers. So, just giving you guys a reference if you guys didn't know that. Maybe if you're a big Marvel fan, maybe you guys did know that. But if you're a younger generation and you got introduced to the Avengers through the cinematic universe, well, this is the original. This is the original Avengers. So there you guys go. If you didn't learn nothing today, that's there's something that you learned today. Something new you learned today. Of course, Doctor Strange, Quicksilver, Man Without Fear, Daredevil, Scorpion versus Spider-Man, Captain America, Daredevil versus Submarina. As you guys can tell, a lot of these images look old. That's what I'm saying. They're based on actual images from comic books. This one is probably from the 60s or maybe 70s. Invisible Woman. This one is Sentinel. Galactus. The Power Cosmic, which is Silver Surfer. Spider-Man versus Green Goblin. Rhino versus Spider-Man. Mary Jane, look at that picture. Mary Jane. She didn't look like that in the movie. Doctor Doom. Warlock. And Behold the Vision. You know, one thing I love about going back and looking at some of these cards, I said this in the previous video, you know, this was all the way back in 94, so this was over 20 years ago. All these characters have existed for a long time, so it's really cool, you know, seeing a lot of these characters brought to life in the MCU, so in that Marvel Cinematic Universe, should I say. Mephisito, if I'm saying that right, I can never pronounce his name right. Morbius. That's one guy I've never seen in a Spider-Man movie. I also think he's one of Blade's villains too, isn't he? The original Ghost Rider. That's what the original Ghost Rider looked like. Thanos. Death of Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man. And that's actually based on, like I said, a real picture from one of the comic books, The Death of Gwen Stacy. That's the image, what it's based on. The Punisher. Still waiting for a good Punisher movie. They have yet to make a good Punisher movie. So, the Punisher movies have been okay. Wolverine versus Hulk. That's a really cool picture. I like the reflection of Hulk's face on Wolverine's claws. That's pretty cool. The Scarlet Witch. And Invaders. We'll go up to the top now. This one is the Black Cat, White Queen, very beautiful picture of White Queen. She-Hulk, I've yet to see her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Moon Knight is another character that they need to bring to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is Days of Futures Past. Look at that. The story, if you thought, you know, Days of Future Past was written at that time of when X-Men came out, the Days of Futures Past, the story always existed. And there is proof of it. Elektra, very beautiful picture of Elektra. And here's the death of Elektra. There's Daredevil, Hobgoblin, and North Star. So we'll flick over to the next page. Next one is Beta Ray Bill. Mr. Fantastic. Chained up. He's got his arms chained up. The black costume. This one is Puma versus Spidey. Next is Silver Sable. Silver Sable. And this one is of Iceman. Apocalypse. Wolverine, or slash it's called Deadly Enemies, but it's Wolverine versus Sabretooth. Nightcrawler, very cool picture of Nightcrawler. Here is Creation of Archangel. Mr. Sinister. The wedding, I guess the wedding of Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Jubilee. Armored Wars, Iron Man, Tombstone, Venom, a very cool picture of Venom, Typhoid Mary, and this would be Mr. Fix-It. Kind of has like a Hulk vibe going on. Maybe he is a Hulk. Maybe he's the Grey Hulk, right? Speedball. And this one is Cap versus Cap. Quasar. Cosmic Spider-Man. And this is Nomad. I don't know the story of Nomad, but every time I see a picture of Nomad, I'm not too familiar with him, but every time I see a picture of Nomad, he always has his son with him. Is there? If you guys know the story of Nomad, let me know. You know, I might have to Google it myself. If you guys know the story of Nomad, please leave it in the comments, because I I'm always intrigued to learn something new. Thanos. Body Slide. That would be Cable. The new Ghost Rider. Deathlock. Creation of Deathlock. One of my favorite Marvel figures. And this one is the new Nova. Wolverine versus Cable. And Gambit. Extinction Agenda. There's Wolverine, Archangel, and Cyclops. And this one is the new Hulk. That's pretty cool. And then you got Deadpool. Shatterstar. And this is the X-Force. And you'll probably see a lot of the X-Force hanging around Deadpool. And there is Johnny Blaze, aka Ghost Rider. Next, we'll come over here to the Child of the Future, which is Cable. I think Jean Grey and Cyclops, they have a baby, and the baby eventually becomes Cable. Here is X Factor. Here is Blue and Gold. This is actually based on a comic book that I have, that image. Bishop. Omega Red versus Wolverine. Punisher versus the Mob. Carnage. Cage. War Machine. And the Death of Mariko. Here's Wolverine. And it looks like a casket of Mariko. Spider Slayers. And Night Stalkers. Of course, there is Blade and his crew. Here is Spider-Man 2099. That's a really cool picture of Spider-Man in 2099. Next one is Hulk Leads the Pantheon. Strife. And then Warrior Images. Now, I was discussing this in the previous video. Wolverine and Strife are brothers, right? So, does that mean Cyclops and Jean Grey had two sons? Right? Or is there a different story behind that? If you guys know, leave a answer in the comments. Wonder Man. And this would be Doom 2099. Okay, Lethal Protector, Venom. Punisher 2099. Green Goblin. Alternate Visions. Maximum Carnage. Namor. Psylord. Psylocke. And Random. Coming up, Thunderstrike. Have we seen Thunderstrike in the Thor movies? I don't know. I like Thor, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I've only caught glimpses of the Thor movies. I've never actually sat through a Thor movie. I know. And this is Infinity Crusade. So would this be a part of the Infinity War? Infinity Crusade? I wonder, in the next Infinity War movie, are they going to introduce any of the X-Men or any of the Fantastic Four? Or possibly Deadpool, or maybe Punisher? There's so many characters you can introduce to the Infinity War. This one's Hulk 2099. This is Cable Returns. The Death of Lilandra. Gabin and Rogue. Vengeance. Daredevil. And the new Ravage. We'll flick over to the next one. Alright, we're doing pretty good. We're almost at the 15-minute mark, so this might be another 20-minute video. If you guys are still with me, I just want to thank you guys. This one is Wolverine Defeated. You can see all the adamantium being I guess pulled out of him by, of course, Magneto. Speaking of that, bone claws. I like that, the butterfly on Wolverine's bone claws. Magneto returns. Xavier versus Magneto. And then Colossus defects. I wonder what that's about. And Exodus. I actually have a comic book with Exodus with this same image. I don't know which one it was. I think it might be Alternate Visions with Vision on the cover. I could be wrong. Bloodhawk. This is Larithos? Never heard of Larithos. I'm guessing he must be an enemy of Ghost Rider, right? A final conflict. There is Mr. Fantastic, and I don't know who that is. Maybe Doctor Doom. Here is Centaurus. The Thor Corpse. Sabretooth surrenders. Venom the Madness. It's a very cool picture of Venom. I'd like to get a blown up picture of that and hang it on my wall. This is a very cool picture of Venom. Doctor Strange. Suicide Run, The Punisher. Legacy. I guess. I don't know who that is. Is that... I don't know who that guy is. Is it Mean Streak? I don't know. Is Mean Streak part of the Marvel Universe? I don't know if he is, but I know that Silver Surfer behind him. Justice. And Carnage. So we'll flip over to the next page. Venom. Of course, that's how the card is. He's upside down on the ceiling. Or, I think he's on the ceiling. Spider Demon. That's what it says. Even though he's the Doppler Gangler, right? If I'm saying that right. This one is Shriek. Spider-Man. A very cool picture of Spider-Man. And a very cool picture of Venom. Venom lives. And next to him, I'm guessing that's Eddie Brock, who eventually turns into Venom. Cyclops. Jean Grey. Bishop. And then Warpath. We come up here. Here is Rogue. Domino. And then here is Boom Boom. Is it Boom Boom? I thought her name was Boomer. But here's Boom Boom. Oh, maybe it is Boomer. Maybe that's just the name of the character or the storyline. Boom Boom. Wolverine, very cool picture of Wolverine. Him screaming or growling in the moonlight. That's a really cool picture. This one is of Havoc. And then we come down to the Power Blast. I don't have all the Power Blast. This is 15 of 18 Spider-Man. And of course, here is Venom. Invisible Woman. Or Invisible Girl. Depends on how you want to call her, I guess. I don't know. Doctor Doom. Invisible Woman. Yeah, I guess. And that's pretty much it. And on the back of those ones I just showed you, here's the kind of alternate versions of them. Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, Invisible Woman, and then Venom. So we'll come over here, and these are, this is not a complete collection. This is the 95 Flair. So what you saw was the 94 Flair. So this is not a complete collection, but I'll just show you guys anyways. Jean Grey, Sparray, Shatterstar, Halanx, if I'm saying that right, Multiple Man, Mystique, Douglock, Kitty Pryde, and Tapestry. It's amazing when you go through more newer versions of these trading cards, and of course of Marvel storylines. There's always new characters being introduced, which is really awesome because that means the Marvel Universe is never going to end. So here's Tapestry. This is Final Sanction, Wolverine here. Healing Factor. Belladonna. Nathan Dayspring. Bishop. Hobgoblin. Bloody Mary. Falcade? Am I saying that right? Falcade? Mary Jane. Mary Jane always looks good in comics, doesn't she? Why can't they do that in real life in the movies? Bring a Mary Jane like that to the movies. Green Goblin, Judas the Traveler, Knights of Vengeance, Annex, Electra, Silver Sable, Dr. Druid, and what was this? Clandestine. Okay, we'll flip over to the next one. This one's gonna be a little bit shorter. Like I said, I don't have the complete collection. Thor 2099, Ravage 2099, Werewolf. Let's see, Bloodhawk, Baron Zemo, Thunderstrike, Blackout, Strange, and Giant Man. And then we'll come up here. We'll finish last page. Silver Surfer, Tyrant, Sentry, Punisher, Nova, and Namera. Namera. Must be Namor's wifey, right? And then last but not least, Sphinx. So there you go, guys. That was my review. I'll probably call this video the 94 Flair Marvel trading cards review. I'll probably get the 95 ones out until I complete that collection. Then I'll probably do a review video of the 95 Flair Marvel trading card set. So there you go, guys. Hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed checking out some cool images from these trading cards. And, yeah, like I said, these figures have been around for a very, very long time. If you're a young person and you're watching this video and like, oh, wow, they existed way back then in 94. Yeah, they existed way back then in 94 and way back in the 80s and 80s and 70s and 60s, and I'm guessing this has to be from the 60s, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool that, the Avengers, I think they came up with the Avengers in maybe late 60s, I think it was, and now to see it come full circle with the Avengers Infinity War is pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing to think about, that the Avengers have been around for a very long time. They've actually been around longer than I have. That's insane. That is insane. If you're over, let's say if you're over 40, the Avengers has been around longer than you. That's pretty insane. I'm not over 40, but I'm just saying. Or maybe over 50. Yeah, I think if you're over 50, the Avengers are probably older than you, which is insane. That's crazy. But there you go, guys. That was my review of the Marvel 94 Flair trading cards. If you like this review, hit the like button. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Flipagram, or now it's called Vivagram. They just changed their name. Like, I think today they changed their name. I think it's Vivagram, I think now. And Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.